So now we come to understand communication model. So having understood essentially the whole communication process, sender, receiver, noise, etc., and then understanding the promotion mix, which is essentially also a Markov mix, you can so to say. So those 5 Markov mix. Now we come to understand what is communication models. So communication model, if you have to just understand, it's a way one can look at developing an effective communication only once you know how customer passes through various phases of his decision making. So may go through certain behavior. It's a behavioral aspects that one need to understand, which has both psychographic into it and social, physiology, or so to say the mental aspect into it. Yani. So how the promotional efforts of the marketing guy will influence his customer. So it looks at that. So what needs to be influenced at what stage of the consumer? That is very critical. So that is what there are various communication model that will bring it out. And so overall, why do we do the communication? So this communication model tries to tell us the objective setting has to be right. So they want you to look at these aspects. What is that objective for which you are communicating? So is it an awareness? Is it to trigger an interest? Is it for some offer that you are trying to reach out to him? Some detailed information that, or you are trying to change the attitude of the customers. Attitude change is like brushing twice. You know, earlier this thing was brushing only once. Now they gradually came out with kind of an attitude change behavior where with the doctor recommendations and various things they convey to us that one must brush twice for a longer life of your teeth, etc. So when you do it, the product usage increases, but that needed a fundamentally the attitude change behavior. Behavioral aspects need to be changed. Accepting pregnancy kit, expecting the pregnancy termination pill like I pill, etc. So they are all behavioral change that is needed. So number of various models that we are going to cover, which encompasses these aspects. How consumers go through various phases of his decision making. What are the psychographic and behavioral aspect into it? So friends, we are understanding now different communication model. What you have in front of you is a matrix. You see there are 4 different communication models: IDA model, hierarchy of effect model, innovation adoption model, information processing model. And then what you see is a stages: cognitive, affective, and behavioral. Brief about it. Today in this actually explanation, we are only going to cover first 2 models. The rest of the 2 models we are not covering, so to say. So quickly, if I to give you an understanding about it, is this part that needs to be understood, so that understanding the other 2 will become easy. So what is cognitive? Cognitive is all to do with information receiving, which will allow you to think. So having an information makes you think. So cognitive stage, consumer is supposed to get all the information about your product or the service and then think about it. So only when he has the information, his thinking starts. The second stage is an affective stage, which is a feeling, which is development of a liking, getting a feeling that, you know, I need this solution, feeling that you are right, you know, you are offering a right product, feeling about, you know, you being the best in the lot. So competitive differentiation. So that's the affective stage. And then comes the cognitive stage, which is the behavioral stage. Having got the required information, compared, evaluated, having developed the feeling where the need is triggered, I felt the need, I have a favorable disposition towards your product and the brand, etc. So what is expected out of me is a behavior. Behavior means I must acquire it, as natural as that. So that's acquiring the product or the service. So these are the 3 critical psychological aspects. Consumer pass through these 3 stage. To this, psychologists have related different communication model. But as I told you, we'll be studying the first 2 only. So the first model is IDA model. It's an acronym, and the full form of that is attention, interest, desire, and action. So of course, the engagement is a starting point. The rest of the thing is customers go through these 4 phases. That's what it says. For him to take the last step, which is an action. So what is required is that you wanted first an attention to be grabbed. So your overall message, the encoding has to be right. That is the creative, the message, how it has been portrayed, etc. What the solution it is offering. So that has to be right. So attention, only then the interest will come. Maggie, if it would have come as a Chinese snacks, or Maggie, if it would have come as a, different snacks, would have a different response. But they came with fast to cook, good to eat, 2 minutes. So it like created a sensation among Indian housewife. अरे 2 मिनट में गरम खाना नाश्ता बन जाएगा. Oh, let me try. So that's the interest they got. So post interest, customer developed the desire. Only when there's an interest started coming in when the DO started advertising very aggressively. Otherwise, in my life, when I started my corporate career, there was nothing like, bad this thing about whether you use a DO or no DO. DOs were not there. When they started showing DO and the use, and then you see the female colleague going away from you, etc., then the interest and the desire came. Oh, I must also use DO. So that's what is the power of IDA model. One need to understand. Only when that happens, when your encoding crafts that interest and the desire in me, I will get into acquiring you. That is an action. So that's the stage where action will happen. So explain very well by these move advertisements. If you see there's a family melodrama, they show husband, wife running, wife suddenly having a back pain. Now they are showing is a kitchen at a table ke upar sab, khana kha rahe, everybody is there, and suddenly housewife slips while serving the food, and then her legs is saying, father-in-law comes and gives the move. So you see how family melodrama, they build the interest when you're looking at so much is happening. Oh, suddenly she felt this a need for this thing, and then the desire. So मेरे घर में भी मुंह होना चाहिए. Anybody can fall in my house. So that's what punchline. आपके घर में कौन रहता है, कमर दर्द या मुंह? So such a wiping out statement, like either or can remain in the house. So naturally you don't want backache to remain in your house, so you will have to have the moo in your house. So go and buy the moo. So that's how you see the IDA model. Next model is the hierarchy of effects model. Now hierarchy of effects model is not a different model in a way. However, it clearly emphasizes that customers go through certain stages in his life before he acquires the product. Earlier model also was not so rigidly mentioning, because you can directly generate an interest and make customer acquire the goods, etc. However, here it is believed that these are the 6 stages. IDA has the 4 stages. In the hierarchy of effects model, the 6 stages. Consumers are expected to go through them. These are the 6 stages. Awareness, remain there as an attention, knowledge, liking, preference, conviction, and purchase. If I have to just facilitate your understanding, so to say, awareness is equal to attention, that side. IDA means second is an interest. Here interest is divided into 2, knowledge and liking. So interest is a result of knowledge. First of all, I should have a knowledge, and then the liking is developed. So that's an interest part. Desire here has been referred again in a 2 different way. Preference and conviction. Only when my preference, liking will lead to the preference should lead me to conviction stage. I'm convinced, and then that will happen, the purchase will take place, which is an action. So I've given you a kind of a gist of it. Advertising makes the consumer aware. So how that whole process goes, how the role of Marcom or the promotion mix, etc. So through an advertisement or marketing communication, you will make consumer aware. They start gaining knowledge. Now for that, today the digital media is there. You must provide information on a website, blogs, and various ways, publicity, PR. You must provide a lot of information for the consumers to own his own. Starts liking or starts creating a preference. So remember this stage, knowledge will lead to liking. So that liking will come when consumer is himself able to see, refer, compare, you have a demonstration videos, etc. Then his liking will develop. The liking can be either through USPs or benefit or the feature or an emotional aids or whatever you say. Appeal, you create a liking for it. Liking will have to lead the conviction. So liking, there's a stage will lead to a preference will come. When you start liking and you realize that you have a need for this kind of a thing, the conviction is to be brought in. The conviction will come only when the preference towards you come. So now you have to play that role of differentiation. So that's why you see that a lot of sampling, a lot of test drives are today encouraged by the auto companies, etc. So that's what is the creation of a preference. So preference will lead to conviction, and conviction will lead to finally consumer deciding and purchasing your goods. So that's a hierarchy of effect model. Consumer is believed to be going through this 6 stages. So basic premise is that advertising effects occur over a period of time. So here it is believed that advertising cannot impromptu create an immediate effect. It is a long-term continuous activity. Communication may not lead to behavioral response. Immediate behavioral response cannot be expected. So you have a cognitive this thing stage achieved through an advertising. Maybe you create an affective stage, but immediate cognitive, that a behavioral stage, advertising may not be able to bring. Therefore, you need a series of various steps to be put into your marketing implementation. That's the reason why various other aspects are brought in, and each step has to be very focused on whether this is done for what, this is done for which step, creating awareness, creating knowledge, or liking, creating a preference or a conviction. Those are the critical aspects that each step has to have a relevant objective in mind, so that the next stage is triggered and next stage gets developed in the mind of the consumer.